Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you for watching. Check out the website femyoga.com, click the support button, and help us to keep this channel going and growing together. I invite you to also follow me on Periscope, where I will be talking more about this book with a more interactive quality, more of a live broadcast type, even though this is being done live over on Periscope, which won't have really a time limit. I do try to keep these YouTube live book reviews down between 8 and 10 minutes or so, because that seems to perform the best here on YouTube, and I am still pretty new here and trying to get some people to follow. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and please give this video a like. Thank you so much. Remember, if you subscribe to this channel as a monthly sponsor, when you click that support button, you'll be entered to win $100 cash every single month. Our next $100 giveaway is in 4 days on January 17th, 2019. So if you haven't already subscribed to be a monthly sponsor, please do that now so you can be entered in that $100 giveaway. You can subscribe for as little as $5 a month. So we're back with a brand new book review. This is Good to Great by Jim Collins, co-author of the best-selling Built to Last. And this is about why some companies make the leap and others don't. So he does say in this book that that book, Built to Last, which was actually written first, he found to be kind of like the sequel to this book. So even though this study was done after the Built to Last study, this was more of the prequel. It turned out to be a prequel to that one. So this book is about companies that have CEOs come in to a good company and turn it into a great company, and how that happens and really why that is. So there's a lot of really cool concepts in this book that I like. One of them is actually from his book Built to Last, which I haven't read yet, but it's really, really a fun one. It's fun to say, and it's called a BHAG, which stands for Big, Hairy, Ambitious Goals, which is something that he found all of the companies that went from good to great really possessed. Now, before we get into how you figure out what your big, hairy, audacious goal, and before we get into exactly how to figure out what yours are, I do want to say really what the premise of these books were. So he tries to approach the study of business through a scientific lens, through a research mind, through a study. So what he did is he actually looked at a slew of companies and only ended up picking 11 companies that met all of the very strict criteria for going from good to great. And then each of those companies had a comparison company. So, for example, Wells Fargo was a banking company that went from good to great, and their comparison company was Bank of America, which is a good company, obviously a very strong kind of household name company, but it didn't meet the criteria of being great. It didn't perform as well as Wells Fargo based on the standards that he judged them by. So the book was actually pretty easy to read, even though it looks a bit lengthy. It's about 200 pages. I thought that it was going to take me longer to get through. It was pretty easy because there were a lot of pages of the comparisons between the companies. So, for example, things like this, where he went company by company and explained the specific proof and evidence of what the principle that he discussed in that chapter for each of the companies. So that takes up a lot of pages and a lot of space, and you don't really have to read them specifically because the points remain the same. If you have any doubts about what he's talking about, you can read through there, but you can read through this book quicker than you may think because there's tons of anecdotes. There's tons of for example, in this case, this happened. So I was able to actually get through this, I think, in 4 or 5 days. And this is the second book I read in 2019. We already did a review on the first book, which totally changed the way that I think about business. And that is called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Now, this one changed the way I think about business really around that part that I just talked about, the BHAG, what he calls the hedgehog principle. And he uses 3 circles for you to determine what your BHAG or your hedgehog principle should be. Again, if you want to get into more detail on this, just follow me over on Periscope. I'm going to go live right after this broadcast and talk more about that in a lot more detail. I just don't have a ton of time here on YouTube, so I want to show you these 3 circles that he talks about. And this is how you figure it out. So your hedgehog principle, your simple concept, your simple principle, meaning A hedgehog is a pretty simple animal, according to Jim Collins, the author of this book, which is no matter what strategy its predator takes against it, it rolls up into a ball and is pretty successful with that technique. It just curls up into a nice tight little round ball and its quills and spikes protect it. Hey, Chicken on Biscuits! You're actually the first comment to the broadcast, unless I'm not seeing all of the comments. It's possible. If I'm not seeing your comments, really sorry, not sure why. But I'm going to press on because I am on a time limit here. We've already been talking for 6 minutes. Oh my God, I got to talk faster. Okay. So the three circles say, what are you deeply passionate about? What are you obsessed with? What could you do for free? What do you feel lucky to even be able to do? The second is, what drives your economic engine? Where do you get most of your money? What gets you money? What do you have to what do you put in that gets money out? What really keeps the engine going, so to speak, in your business? And that's really important, obviously, because you don't want to deviate from that. What's working now is good. You just want to get really, really focused on this central principle, which is not just that, but it also combines what you're passionate about with this third principle, which I think is the most interesting. And this was the one that really changed the way that I think out of this whole book. And that is, what can you be the best in the world at? What can your company, your brand, your business, you personally actually be the best in the world at? It doesn't mean what are you the best in the world at right now, or that you definitely will be the best in the world at it, but what do you actually have the potential to be the best in the world at? For example, if you really say you're dyslexic, are you going to be the best reader in the world? Are you going to read faster than anyone else? Are you going to be able to read faster than anyone else in the world? No, probably not. It's not playing to your strengths. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. None of us can be the best at everything in the world. Some of us have struggle with math, so we're not going to be the world's greatest mathematician. And for us to really focus all of our energy and time on becoming, a good mathematician is kind of a waste of our precious time and resources and precious energy, so that we aren't really reaching our full potential and maximizing that potential that we have by playing to our strengths. So I'm curious to know, I'd love to hear what yours are in the comments. What do you think your hedgehog principle, or BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal is? It's going to be that happy medium. And if you want an example, mine would be that I think that this channel can be the best live streaming network in the world. I don't know that I could be the best YouTuber in the world. I don't know that I could be the best live streamer in the world. But I do think that I am passionate enough and driven enough, obsessed enough with the concept of getting this channel live 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, finding awesome content creators, awesome live streamers to bring onto the channel. And I really do truly believe that we have the potential to become the best live streaming network in the world. He talks about a lot of other really interesting topics in this book that I don't have a ton of time to get into now. For example, level 5 leadership. He talks about how the leaders of these companies were different. They were uniquely different from the other leaders in other companies, especially the comparison companies. So you could still be a level 4 leader. Again, you could be good, you could be successful, but what you're really driving for is excellence, for greatness. Because if you have the potential to be great and excellent, why not? It's not a matter of being discontent. It's not like you're not satisfied with good, but you can see that there's more. You can push for more, and you can work a little bit harder or do something a little bit different and actually achieve your full potential. And doesn't your company deserve that? A key part of elite level 5 leader is that they didn't leave when they left the company didn't crumble. They set up a company that could last, very similar to his other book, Built to Last. The company wasn't dependent upon the leader, because the leader had the right people in the right seats. And that was something interesting too, was that these people would bring the right people on and get them in the right position, and then figure out where they were going to go, and then figure out what that BHAG, that big, hairy, audacious goal, was going to be. And on average, these companies took about 4 years to make that happen. And when the leaders left, the company continued to thrive and be great because the culture of the company and the systems of the company were in such a good state for a long lasting company. And to be able to change, you have to be able to accept the facts. So if things are changing, let's say you're a phone book company, well, you may need to change the way you do things. With pharmacies, Walgreens actually changed the way that pharmacies were operated. They basically came up with drive-through pharmacies and having really convenient locations, and then online ordering, and some really interesting stuff about companies that you may be familiar with, you may not be familiar with. I definitely learned a lot. The last thing I'll talk about here, because we're already at 11 minutes, is the flywheel. And the flywheel is, imagine this big stone wheel, and you're trying to make it move. And you push and you push and you push, and it moves a little bit. It moves like a couple inches. And you keep pushing and pushing, it moves a little bit more. And you just keep pushing, you keep pushing. Now, if you were to stop pushing in that direction and go to the other side of the wheel and push back in the other direction, aka completely change directions and lose sight of that really tiny focal point of your business, your hedgehog principle, your simple principle, the one thing that you really focus on doing excellent at, then you're gonna slow down your progress. You're gonna make it so that you're not really ever gonna gain momentum. Because once you continue pushing long enough in the right direction, that flywheel has momentum of its own. And of course, you're going to keep pushing it, but now you don't have to push it as hard. And now it's just going faster and faster and faster and going off of its own momentum. And that's really, in summary, what this book is about. If you have your own company, I never think that you can read too many books about it. I think this was a pretty good book. It had some solid principles in it. And forgot to mention in the beginning what year this book was from. It was 2001, it looks like 2001. So I'm recording this in 2019. So it may feel like it's a little outdated, but it was actually very, very interesting. So one last time, Good to Great, Why Some Companies Make the Leap and Others Don't by Jim Collins, co-author of the best-selling Built to Last. I haven't read that one yet, but I do plan on reading that soon. I have, I think, 500 books on my list to be read, so you never know what's going to be next. Actually, I do know. The next book I'm reading is called Risk Intelligence. So I hope that you will subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned. Check out my other videos. I have book reviews, yoga, ASMR, guest interviews, games, and so much more. Remember, if you go over to the website femyoga.com and click the support button, if you subscribe for monthly sponsorships, you'll be entered to win $100 cash every month on the 17th of the month. Our next giveaway is January 17th, 2019. I really hope that you guys will do that and help us to keep this channel going and growing together. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you every single person that has made this channel possible. I hope to see you on the next one, and I hope to see you over on Periscope right now. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. See you on the next one.